Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the video. Now, I know it's been a bit, okay, I got some stuff going on, but I hadn't posted in a while. I want to make sure to get some out for y'all, and I wanted to do somewhat of a fun video today. One that's less just like number crunchy, and this is how you do this, and this is why this is better than this, but rather just a fun video of predictions slash maybe more of a wish list of subclasses, or at least fighting styles or archetypes that I hope get added into DC20. Because frankly, I think they're cool. Now for this list, I'm gonna have 5 total entries and then kind of an honorable mention that I'll throw in at number 4, purely because I'm pretty sure it's already been confirmed that it's going to be there or exist, but I wanted to mention it anyway because it's something I really enjoy. So starting off at number 5, I suppose, is going to be a fairly basic concept, but it's the ninja kind of archetype. I always think it's really cool being like the sneaky ninja type person, and obviously this would assuredly fall into a rogue class, something of that nature. Ninjas are just freaking cool, okay? You get to be in the shadows, and then you kind of have fun things where you might have access to a few special ninja tools, things like smoke bombs, maybe like shurikens, right? Stuff like that. And then maybe you get bonuses from kind of coming out of the shadows, which rogues already do on their own, but you can give them different features to emphasize this, like maybe they get better stealth checks, maybe rather than just a sneak attack-esque feature, they get like additional bonuses for coming in from the shadows, and it's easier for them to hide and things of that nature. I just really love the idea of quick assassins that get in and get out in that real like ninja play style. Again, basic, but that's what we start off at number 5. Now at number 4, this is also something that's not hyper creative, but rather something that I myself really enjoy in terms of like style of character, and that's going to be the anti-magic character. Now this can be done a bunch of different ways. You can have this be something like a sword-based character, kind of leaning into that Black Clover vibe where you have someone that's like whole thing is their anti-magic. You can have this be more contraption-based, so you could have this something like an artificer where they have almost like an EMP-esque style of play where they kind of cancel out magic around them and things like that with stuff they've built. Or you can even go to the style of a magic user that has been raised, you know, and kind of leans into that subclass of being anti-magic. So a lot of their stuff is designed around the idea and concept of shutting down other magic users. I just always find it very fun. Obviously, for the DM, it might be a little lame, but whenever you have something like this subclass in, it also, I think, makes it really easy for the DM to have an anti-magic enemy, because it's features and stuff that are already built into the game that they can pull from to, you know, shove onto their creatures and their enemies. So anti-magic is super fun. It's always really cool when, you know, the big bad tries to do this big lightning attack, let's say, and you take your sword and just slice through it, right? Anti-magic is sick. I think it's great. Put it in, please. Now, the next 2 are assuredly artificer-based things because, well, I'm a bit of an artificer junkie. I love that style of kind of contraption building play, but simple and sweet, Gunslinger. Okay, at number 3, I love me some Gunslinger, and the beautiful thing about Gunslinger is even as a subclass, it can have its own little variants, right? You can give them the option to maybe choose from different styles where maybe they use a long rifle, maybe they use dual pistols, maybe they use some kind of like, I don't know if there'd be assault rifles in your world, you know, maybe not, but something along those lines, right? Just very cool, unique. You can have your Western cowboy, you can have your long range, you know, sniper, your duelers, like whatever. Gunslinger's always very fun, and then you can even theme them as like, oh, they're creating their own weapons. And even if things like guns don't exist in your game, you can make them magical gunslingers, right? Where their bullets are a little more arcane in nature rather than mechanical. So love me some Gunslingers. Hopefully they are in there in some form or fashion, but you know, who's to say? So coming in hot at number 2, we have, like I said, our second artificer, and that's going to be the turret deployer, for lack of a better word. So like I said, I'm a sucker for my inventions and my things like that, and I, for whatever reason, really love the concept of, you know, instead of having like a little guy running around that you control, you just toss down a turret, and then let's say as a bonus action it gets to shoot at things, right? And I always think it's really cool because you can play this game of maybe defending your turret, because if it, you know, gets taken down, there's not a way to bring it back up mid-combat. There's the logic of, you know, you throw your turret into the fight and maybe it's like a super tanky taunting-esque turret, right? turret makers, or whatever the subclass would be called, don't have to just be like, I throw my turret down and it just sits there and does this like automatic offensive shooting. There's a lot of variations you can do. It can even be a medic-esque turret where maybe you toss this little device down and it slowly latches on and heals your teammates or something like that. Something like Lifeline, if any of y'all played Apex Legends, right? Things of that nature. Again, sucker for Artificer, but hopefully there is some form of like turret-esque character where you can build those little bots that you throw out and do things. I love that style. Now, before we get to my number one hope that I so hope is in the game, I want to talk about an honorable mention, and that's going to be blood magic users. Now, I believe these are already confirmed to be in the game by the dungeon coach. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident he has said at some point in one of his live streams, I try to catch them when I can, that there is going to be a blood magic user of some kind. I believe he may have even mentioned Warlock, or that was where he would lean, but nonetheless, blood magic's a pretty common thing, so it almost assuredly will be in some way. But blood magic, it's just cool, right? Or if any of y'all have seen Freerin, right? The idea of like someone slicing you and then your blood coming out and being able to then use that blood as a counterattack is just so cool conceptually. And I mean, hey, that already makes for a great feature if you want to steal that, dungeon coach, right? As a reaction, when you get hit and are dealt damage, you can then hit back with a stronger attack of opportunity than you usually could, because that, you know, blood, so to speak, is spilling out of you already to use. So anyway, honorable mention, blood magic, it's just cool. Now, my absolute number one is one that I know that some people that I play with don't really like the concept of this kind of character, because it requires a little more paying attention in combat and you really have to like keep track of things. But the delayed damage character, for those of you that have been watching me since Naruto 5e, which is another TTRPG, they have a subclass called the Phantom Blade. And the idea is you slice at an enemy, but they don't feel anything, and come at the start of their turn, all of the damage, whatever you dealt in that turn, hits them all of a sudden. So it's that delayed damage idea. And I really love this concept. Now, I know some DMs and some people don't like it because of the fact that you have to like keep track of the damage you dealt to then apply it later. Conceptually, it's just really cool, especially if it's like a sword user. And as I talked about the Phantom Blade, right? You swing and they almost assume it went through them, and then right as they go to move to get out of the way, or right as they go to move to start their turn, all of a sudden they feel this slash come across their chest and they take their whatever damage. The concept is so sick, and it doesn't have to be sword-based, right? You can lead it into a magic user, maybe some kind of time manipulator, where anytime they deal damage, where did it go? Where'd that fireball go? What happened? And then all of a sudden, you know, come the start of a certain person's turn, boom, that fireball hits and just explodes out of nowhere, right? It's very cool conceptually. And it allows you to do some very interesting, unique things, such as setting up things that maybe the enemy can't react to, or it is harder to react to, right? Like maybe it requires an extra action point for them to react to this damage because it's, you know, happening very weirdly all of a sudden, right? A lot of cool, unique, interesting things, but I think conceptually, the idea of playing a character that has that ability is just very unique and a very cool style. So there you go. Those are my top 5, plus my honorable mention that I think is already going to be in there. Subclass kind of variants of classes that I really hope are in there. I think all of these are super fun. And again, it's a personal list, right? It's nothing super set in stone. This is just things that I want to see. And if there's any y'all want to see, let me know down in the comments. I always love reading people's kind of ideas or concepts of different subclasses and different character archetypes, because there's a lot you can do, especially when it is a brand new system. And the reason I'm making this video as well is the next update to the rules should hopefully be coming out soon, or at least sooner rather than later, in which case we're going to get the subclasses. So we're going to get to see what all they got going. So I hope y'all enjoyed. I will see y'all in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe. Peace out.